I'm Marci Barron, and this is Mondays with Marci. I'm your homeward bound guide to everything 5D living. I can't wait to share with you tips and tools to guide your personal transformation so that you can live a life that thrills you.
Hello and welcome to this week's Mondays with Marci. I am Marci Barron, your host. And this week I am so excited to talk to Melanie Esperon. Melanie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we got connected through Erin Porter, who told me, she's like, you have to do a reading with Melanie and she's going to blow your socks off. And you did.
That was a while back now, yeah?
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. And all the things that you told me came to fruition. So
Wow.
I got the download before we sat down that this podcast was going to be called The Oracle. And yeah, and that's, I feel like you're just this oracle, this initiator, this opening to the door, I feel like, to so many people. Can you tell people who you are, what you do, how you spend your days, and all the things about you?
Thank you for such a warm introduction. I feel the same about you in the sense of an initiator, a ball of light. What I've been doing for, I don't know, I would say about 15 years now, but since birth, like all of us, I've been just allowing myself to see people for who they really are. And when they come to me, and whether it's a one-on-one session or a group event, whatever the case may be, or we're just having dinner and just meeting through friends, it's really about me holding space to see someone. And for some odd reason, Spirit has given me this beautiful gift to see everyone else's map but mine in the sense of their future and their future options. And so when people sit with me, I'm able to kind of give them this carrot that dangles in front of them. A lot of my friends or other healers or psychologists, they say, you give my clients hope, where they have something to chase after. And then all the other healers help them do the work, the process to get there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it feels like kind of like a roadmap. You're kind of
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Wow, knowing that. Wow, that's an amazing, beautiful expression. And we do need that roadmap. And I will say thank you on this podcast because so many of your clients you have sent to me to support their healing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're amazing at that. And so, yeah, this is where you step in, Marci. It's so beautiful because when I send my people to you, you help them to really understand their past, to understand what's waiting for them in their future. And you help them with that process. And people always say to me over the course of the years, they're like, how are you guys all helping one another, these healers? I'm like, well, we all have beautiful gifts. And if we can all just allow each other to utilize what we've got, then we can start to shift this collective.
It's so true. It is that is a beautiful way of expressing it. There is no competition. We're all here, to help each other. And that is my favorite thing to do on this podcast is I'm highlighting all these different healers and people here that are leading the way to anchor everyone into 5D consciousness and higher, but making that first really big leap at looking at, as you do, you see the potentiality, you see the possibilities, and then giving the little supports for people then, to jump the timelines. So tell people, tell our audience listening, like, what is it you do? Like, what are the services you offer? You have this beautiful Reiki's Room San Diego, and you attune and all of these beautiful things. So tell our listeners, like, what it is that you do.
Yeah. It's funny because when you're asked that question, you're like, all the things, right? It's like a buffet, right? Yeah. But for the most part, people come to me for one-on-one sessions virtually now, post-pandemic, and we tap into what's going on with them, and we take a look at their future options. And typically people are on like this cadence of seeing me every quarter in the year, and we just make sure they're on point into where they're going. I'm kind of like a personal trainer for the soul. It's like, let's
Ooh.
work out, right? It's like, let's work out inside of you, right? The outside can be beautiful, but we got to make sure that all aligns. And of course, with that comes the modalities of clairvoyancy to see the Reiki energy healing, to clear the energy, to get them prepared to move forward, and community along the way. It's crazy. People say develop boundaries, which, I'm always working on, but it's hard to not fall in love with all of your clients, right? Because they
I
become
agree.
close friends. Yeah.
I agree with that. I just love the people I work with.
Yeah.
And you come from a lineage of seers, right? Like I'm in love with the pictures of your ancestors and your grandmother and your beautiful family. Can you talk about that? Or like I feel it in my core, like of what
Mm.
the lineage of women that you are from knocks my socks off. Can you speak to that?
Thank you so deeply for saying that. Before we popped onto the podcast, I was praying to my grandma. She just passed away about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for me because she taught me all I know without even really trying to teach me. It's just, you grow up with your grandma, she's showing you everything. And she, to me, is a medicine woman, a shaman, and also very much a medium. So she was able to see deceased loved ones. And as a little girl, I would see her talk to spirit right in front of me with my physical eyes. And she taught me, which is so beautiful. She said I would be so scared at like age 4, 5, 6, because I could see just like her. And she's like, spirit can't hurt you. You need to look out for the the actual earth plane. That's, people can hurt you in that way.
Oh,
Betrayal, fear in that space. But she's like, spirit can't hurt you. You're here to help them. And so from a very young age, my grandma taught me we are messengers and we're the middleman from, human all the way up to heaven. Right. So as a little girl, I definitely wasn't afraid of this gift. And it's what a beautiful thing, because sometimes spirit just wants to talk. Right. So I get it
wow.
from my grandma. That's what I say. And she's definitely right here in front of me in spirit. She's like, thank you for honoring me. And it
Yeah.
trickles down to my aunts, my mom, to me, my sister. It's a trip. We're light workers. And what I mean by that is we work with people to see their light and to remind them of who they are.
The true essence. Yeah,
Yeah.
all of the beautiful tributes and pictures and posting of your Asian Pacific, right? It's the Asian
Yeah.
Pacific line, and especially you're the essence of your grandmother. I just, I'm in awe of that. There's a word to describe the medicine woman in your lineage. What is that word again?
In Filipino, it's hilot. And then
Hilo.
in Hawaiian, it is
Like the
kahuna.
kahuna. The
Yeah.
kahuna. Oh, I
Yeah.
get such chills. Yeah. I mean, my God, like you are the fucking real deal. It's like it's just
I'm going to cry. Thank you, sister. I'm getting really emotional.
yeah, it's just it's powerful. It is
Yeah.
so powerful and it is, you know, I'm glad you're crying because for me and everyone hearing this to recognize you and see you and celebrate you, I do, sister, I do.
Sheesh. Thank you. To the listeners, it's like I'm crying. You can't see me, but that just means that you really know how to hold the space. This is why everyone go to Marci, because
Oh,
if you want to be seen, I mean, I've been following you, especially lately with all your beautiful retreats, and there is nothing, you can't compare anything to a retreat with your sisters, your soul sisters. It's a magical experience that will be just so ingrained in your soul. And what you're doing, whew, you're going to be doing this forever.
oh, thank you. It's so funny because I love that. Thank you. It really does light me up. It really is something transformational about being away, taking the time, being with other women, not having responsibilities other than yourself, carefully
Right.
curating, right, the healing and the relaxation so it's in balance. So thank you. It's something is changing in my work. I just and it will be announced actually by tomorrow, so I can say this as it's released.
Woo!
But I had a membership community. I have a membership community, but I don't feel the joy that it was like
Ah,
in its original purpose. And so I'm letting it go. And my ego's freaking out
totally.
because I don't know what's on the other side of that yet.
I do.
Yeah, well, can you tell me? That would be great. Because I was just crying before we got on. I'm like, this is a really hard thing.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know? What is it?
Me too. You're so amazing. It's like perfect timing, right, to chit chat. Spirit was showing me more and more travel for you in the sense of retreats and experiences. And the reason why they're taking you away from the membership, it's not that that wasn't serving you or other people, because that's amazing. But they're saying, open up the gates because there's more people who want to see you and work with you that wouldn't be able to get into this box if you closed it up just to membership. So
Oh,
you're working with the public, girl, the entire collective. And amongst the travel and amongst the retreats, there are very small virtual groups and in-person groups that you'll be holding for small pockets of time, 2-3 week energies, to really jumpstart people into their process of going backwards. And when then they're ready, they'll come back and enjoy the retreat spectrum with you.
I
So
love that.
yeah. And then of course the author energy. And then of course there's one more that I don't know if you are aware of yet, but there is some sort of talk show that you will be running into, whether it's like a spiritual TV host, but there's something coming your way in forms of an opportunity within the next 12 months.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Can't wait to see it, sister, in physical world, right? Like,
Wow.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Someone's going to pay you to travel the world and to document these retreats that you're throwing and explain the process to what you actually do. Because, you know, the outside world who is not really into our tribal energy is, what are they doing in the jungle? Or what are they doing in that house, that Airbnb house, and swimming around? It's like, we're creating a space to create time for ourselves. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
But a lot of people see it as, you know, dancing naked in the forest, which we probably do too, right? But
that's coming this in 2 weeks because it's the magic retreat.
Oh, I mean, that's what we try to get back down to play and to our inner child. That's where all the wounds are being kept in or vaulted in. And so, but for you to explain this process to the outside world through the format of TV,
Really?
or Netflix or whatever is coming your way, it'll help people understand like spirit and heaven or the other side is full of joy. And that's what we need to start reincorporating back into our physical 3D life. That's what COVID was all about. They're like, hey guys, this isn't working. You guys need to reinvent yourself, and you have all the tools, right?
It's so true. It is so true. It really was, and still is, an initiation into our most authentic, aligned selves and what is. And it's funny you say that because that's what this membership was created, was out of COVID, out of like the lockdown and the thing. And it's like, like there's real life that I want to be living in. That and it's scary because my ego goes, oh, you know, you should, or this is going to be missing, and da da da. But of course, we having this conversation like literally 20 minutes after I made the decision to do it. I'm like, oh, she can see. Well, yeah. I literally just made my last call. I was like, this is it. The last call is tomorrow. Like, that's it.
Oh, good for you. I've been doing that, especially during this time of retrograde. It's like people always say, don't make decisions. And I just, since yesterday, I feel like there's been a shift with the healer community in the sense that we're moving forward and we're not afraid. And I'm into it. I love that power energy.
Yeah. And again, it's like, I don't know. I don't really have a problem in Mercury retrograde. It's like,
me neither. It's weird.
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, Mercury Mercury's going backwards. Cool. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Mercury.
It doesn't faze me at all.
It's a mindset, I believe. Right?
I do believe it. And I know another woman told me like her Chiron wound is in Gemini / Mercury. So like she always has that come up because that's like part of her thing.
I feel that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for me, I'm like that's not where my healing is happening.
Totally. You probably have like past that in a different lifetime. You're like, this doesn't touch me, but this does, right? We
Right.
always have something to learn,
Yeah.
but I'm glad it doesn't, because you're supposed to hold us up.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, all right, that's not where it's in other places, but
Totally. Like scarcity or like
Yeah.
safety buttons. I same.
You just named the two things.
Mhm. I mean, it's like, do we have enough? And funny enough, I pulled a card before this call, and it was a goddess Sedna, and she said, "You always have enough." And I was like, "Okay, answered." Right? Like,
Yeah.
guides are always talking to us. And I read what it meant, and it said, "Watch your mindset, because that's your world." And I'm like, ain't that the truth?
We are co-creating our reality, and it is in our best interest to create in our minds heaven on earth so that we can fully step into that.
Amen.
Amen, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're doing. So tell our audience listening how they can reach you, what like how do they book a session with you? How do they look into what you're offering? You're doing amazing things in person in San Diego, but you're accessible to everyone on this planet through the sessions that you offer online. So how do people find out about your incredible offerings, your readings, your roadmap, the oracle, if you will, that you are? How do they find you, and what do you and how do they book an appointment?
Sure. The best way is through Instagram at Reiki Room SD, or the website is www.reikiroomsandiego.com. And I offer one-on-one virtual sessions, one-on-one virtual mentorships or trainings to get attuned into the lineage of Asui Reiki. What else do I do? We throw group events in San Diego. My sister recently opened up her healing space. She's an esthetician, so she combined energy healing, Reiki, with, all the facial goodness and crystals, crystal therapy. And so we throw these events that are really about spa meets spirit. It's like perfect. It's everything I want, right? It's like, let's do something that I want. Thanks.
I'm ready for portals to open, and I can just step through a portal and go to one of those beautiful events. I see you guys promoting it. I know.
One day.
I know. One day. I have a 16-year-old daughter at home, so my excuse to travel right now has been for my work and holding the spaces. But when I'm ready to go, I'm going.
It's funny when we created the events too. I thought it was just for the local people to San Diego, and like 90% of the people have flown in from the East and like Midwest, and I'm just like mind blown.
Yeah.
But they're like, we're making it a vacation. I'm like, you are so smart. Come out here, have the event, go do other things in San Diego. It's a destination spot. So one day I'm going to get you here.
Oh, I'm coming. It's no doubt about it. And I want to make my circles around and see Erin and Melissa and you and all of, and I have to get Cecilia. Oh my God, love her.
Love her.
Thank you for sending her to me. She's really
she's a gem.
Beautiful soul, and I just love being and supporting. Actually, the two clients that you sent, they asked me to be on their podcast.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I don't even remember, because
the husband and the wife. The husband and the wife.
Oh my gosh, we're drawing a blank.
Jennifer and Miklos.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love them. They're family friends. So I was like racking my brain, like, who did I send Jen and Mick. Oh my gosh, they're amazing.
I'm going to be on their podcast.
Oh my God.
They both had blown away by what they did with me in past life regression. And they're like, we want you on our podcast. I'm like, okay. So it's this beautiful place and space, is divine appointments of connection. And I love you through the ether. My heart bows to yours in honor and in gratitude of who you be and what you're doing. And again, just honoring all of your gifts, my dear. I am going to link in the podcast notes all of the Instagram and your website. And if anybody listening to this knows that this would benefit someone, please forward and pass the word on, as Melanie is truly the real deal. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week's episode of Mondays with Marci. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter at marcibaronclears.com. I also would love for you to follow me on your favorite podcasting app so that you don't miss a single episode. I'm Marci Baron, and thanks for listening. I am so grateful you are here.